an alliance to bring you geek news from across the Nostalgiaverse. They are Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell. So strap yourselves in for the weekly live show that brings you toy news, TV and movie reviews, special guests, opinions, tangents, and bad impressions. Reveals, releases, thoughts, and maybe dreams. So prepare yourselves for the Geek Week in Review. Live.
Hello.
Hello.
I like that new tune. I like it. Hello, welcome back to Geek Week. This is Geek Week episode 164 with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. If you're new to the show, thank you very much for tuning in. Do join in on the comments as we go through the show. We go out across a bunch of different programs and platforms and stuff, so we do our best to get to the comments and try to include you so that the kind of fluidity of the show is across all platforms. If you're watching us on catch up, however, like a lot of you do, Mr. Sorrell, what is it they need to put in the chat?
Hashtag catch up crew.
Catch up crew. Couple of shout outs very quickly. Ezra Gantos, Toddworld, Shaun the Sheep, Luna Spring asking how we're doing. We're good. I like Scream and Ice Cream. How you doing? It started with a click. Shelley, Bethany Best there. Andy Roberts is there. We'll get to the rest of you as the show goes on. It's a good one this week. We've had quite a lot going on, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been an interesting week.
Yeah, obviously we are hot off the heels of D23. D23, for anyone that's not familiar, is essentially Disney's version of San Diego Comic-Con, isn't it? Really, it's their big.
If you've watched any of the vlogs this weekend, if you look, it seems bigger than San Diego Comic-Con. Have you seen any of the videos?
Massive, yeah.
It's across two. It's in the Honda Center and the Anaheim Convention Center, so it's in two places.
Yeah, it's massive.
And they have
it's
a shuttle between the two locations.
Yeah.
And they obviously have Marvel and Lucasfilm. Then they have all of the Disney corporations, including the parks, the cruise lines, Disneyland Paris, all the different parks around the world. It's basically Disney's chance to show off their guns, basically, of how many different things they own.
It's basically, it reminds me of that scene in Thor when what's his name, when Keith Urban goes, "Behold my stuff." It's just like, that's basically Disney just going, look at what we own. But it's really exciting. But we're not going to talk about that tonight because it is still going on now. There is the final kind of like few bits going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a Geek Week Plus, which is our kind of bonus show. We're going to do one of them tomorrow night, we think, just to discuss everything D23. So we'll talk about Marvel, we'll talk about Star Wars, we'll talk about Disney, we'll talk about the animations, the parks, the cruises, all sorts of stuff. So tune into wherever it is you're watching this show. Tune in tomorrow night, Monday night, and we'll talk D23. Tonight, though, we are talking Marvel Legends. That's the main kind of theme, isn't it? We haven't done a Marvel Legends themed show for quite some time, and we're gonna kind of dive into the kind of top 10 Marvel Legends that we want Hasbro to make. So Hasbro have been very kind to us recently in regards to Marvel Legends. Let's be honest, they have been hitting a lot of the kind of the characters and the figures that people have been asking for a long time. Even recently we had things like Dragon Man finally coming back to Marvel Legends. So they are really kind of pumping them out. I mean, I remember a time, and not too long ago, where you would get kind of 1 or 2 waves of figures a year, and that was it. Like that was your lot. Whereas now we just kind of get wave upon wave upon wave, which is great. It's great.
Did you see the fact that we also got some figures this week as well from the Spider-Man?
Yes.
We got some Spider-Man releases, didn't we, for the new
Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse, yeah.
Yeah. So off the top of my head, if I remember rightly, we had Peter Parker, which is the kind of universe's Spider-Man that dies in the first film. But it's the first time that they've given us the full Spider-Man classic outfit in that Spider-Man style. And it comes with a blonde head, unmasked head, which is cool.
Yep.
We got another Miles Morales, which we've kind of had a few times already,
Yep.
with a new unmasked head sculpt. We've got a new Gwen. When I say new, she's got kind of a new hairdo.
The figure's different as well because she's got purple this time instead of the pink. It's all
Yes.
purple webbing.
Yes,
Which looks quite cool. And then that head sculpt's new, isn't it? With the little all the purple
Yeah.
and blue. That's quite cool.
So looking into it, people are saying that this is the version of her when she's kind of talking to her dad and stuff in the film. It kind of goes that kind of blue, that purpley tinge.
Yeah.
Who else do we get? We got Spider-Punk.
Spider-Punk, yeah, the unmasked heads as well with this one.
Which I found what was interesting about this is that it's a purple figure. So they've done his kind of animated style. So he's kind of like washed in a purple color. But they've given 2 unmasked heads, one purple and one regular. So if you have the previous release, you can then get the unmasked head, which is cool. I got a big shout out to RDJ Custom Creations because I've had my unmasked head for ages, and look at that, it looks incredible. Cannot complain at all. So I'm not fussed. I've got my unmasked head. But a lot of customizers were creating that head because the original figure didn't come with it, which was a massive missed opportunity. Who else did we get in that wave? I think
Pavitra as well, the Indian.
Indian Spider-Man. Yep, that's a big fan favorite. I'm glad that they finally did him.
We got Miles Morales as well in the alternate costume as well, didn't we?
The Prowler version. That
Quite
was it.
cool.
Yeah. So what we saw at the end of the film, which is obviously going to be a big part going forward into the next film, which I did find quite interesting as a decision, as a design choice, because you only see him at the end of that movie. And he's obviously going to be a big part of the next film. So I thought he would come as a figure for the next film. I didn't expect to see him this early. So
we're getting a 2099 as well with the unmasked head as well.
A lot of controversy about that. People are saying that there's kind of whitewashing, that he's kind of like he's paled down a little bit and doesn't quite look.
It's the same as when they did, because it's I forgot his name that plays him. It's from Star Wars, but when they did the Star Wars figure, it's the same head sculpt basically they used for that.
Yeah, for me, Miguel O'Hara is a vampire essentially, isn't he? He's like a vampire character, and so I saw it that they kind of went down that kind of monster tone, and he looked very. But I've seen comparisons to like Robert Pattinson's Batman. There's so many comparisons out there. But it's a cool figure. It's a cool figure if that's what you're into. So there we go. But yeah, I think the problem is that I think they got leaked early.
They did.
And this is happening a lot, isn't it, with Marvel Legends? Let's be honest. They seem to be leaking. It's not new. They've always leaked. But there seems to be a lot of leaks at the moment, and I don't know whether that's.
Yeah, I think these were on show or being announced at D23 as a part of the merchandising panel for Marvel. So I think that's how they leaked out early, because people obviously, when files start getting handed around for slides and things, that's where we usually get the leaks from. Somebody usually uploads them. Yeah.
Which is a shame, because obviously it would have been a bit of a big pop for Marvel merchandising.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, it's cool. I mean, there's not a huge amount in there that I think the Prowler one I'm keen to pick up, and the Spider-Man India I'm keen to add to the shelf, but the rest I could quite happily pass on because I've got them in one way or another. So yeah. Cool. But yeah, I did get a parcel though. I did get a parcel from our friends at Comics and Cocktails. It actually arrived on my door about an hour before we started, so I haven't even opened it yet. So I'm going to see what's in it. I think I know what's in it. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I don't know. Let's have a look. Ooh. Okay. Any guesses?
Legends?
There's one legend and one something else.
I don't know what it's to be honest. I don't know what legends are out these days. Oh, Dalsim.
Oh. Cool. I can just put him there. Done. Done. The other one though. The other one is definitely. Oh, I've been looking forward to this one. Oh, it's actually quite cool. It's actually quite cool. Bum, 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 bum.
Carnage. Nah,
Yes, I didn't think this was coming out till September.
I didn't. I got that earlier. It's
But it's
weird,
in
isn't
my
it?
hand.
Because like the things that you would think were coming out later come out early, and then then other stuff takes forever. It's weird.
You know what though? You say about it coming out like whether this is early, late, or whatever,
Mm.
but this film came out in like 2021,
Yeah.
so this is like well late, well late. But it's cool. I'm gonna have to open this up and do a video on it tonight, maybe, because if I've got it, lots of other people are going to be getting it. So there we go. But Dowsim can just stay there for another like 15 weeks. There we go.
Robert
Beth
Hoffman
added that to
said,
the unboxing list.
yeah, Robert Hoffman's comment. Wait, is there no GI Joe talk? Well, Robert, you just wait for this week, my friend. You wait to see what Hasbro is sending me this week. You might get some GI Joe.
Oh, you're getting some Joes.
I've got one Joe. One
Oh,
Joe.
I've got a singular Joe.
A single Joe. Well, I got sent. Wait, hang on. Keep talking 1 minute.
I actually really like this Carnage. I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite excited by it.
I'm here. I got sent.
I've gone back to my Carnage.
Sorry, I got sent the Chuckles figure,
Oh, cool.
which is absolutely awesome. I do actually really like this figure. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a really good fig. So I got sent Chuckles.
Yep.
And I got chatting with our rep at thing, and he said, "Oh, do you like Joe's?" And I said, "Yeah, no, I don't mind Joe's." So I told him what I use them for.
Yeah.
Because I thought this guy looks really cool in photos opposite my Man Thing and stuff like that. He sort of just matches the aesthetic of like Man Thing, and
Yeah.
I thought when I go to Florida, he's going to be like the perfect like holiday character to take because of his floral shirt and stuff. It looks like he's on a Hawaiian vacation. So I thought I'd take him. And they said, because they're going to send me a Morbius, because I've been after that Morbius for ages, and I've had that on order with them for a long time. It's finally come in, apparently. But they're going to send me the San Diego Comic Con man snake thing. I forgot his name. You know, the one where it's the Cobra, the man Cobra thing.
Oh,
They're sending me him. Rob's going to kill me that I don't know his name and I'm being sent it, but I'll learn it before I do the video.
Yeah. Yeah, but he kind of fits in with your monsters theme.
He does. That's the whole point. That's why they're thinking. And speaking of monsters, the lovely people at Mad About Horror as well. Oh, London by Midnight, and he's such a good character. He's such a good fig.
That is cool.
So good.
That is cool. Rob's getting angry. Cobra Commander. There you go. I said Cobra.
It's Cobra Commander, but it's there's a name for it in there. It's like Once a Man or something they call it, or something. It's got like a name, hasn't it?
It's essentially the Cobra Commander as a Cobra.
As a Cobra.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? My favorite Hasbro figure today, because I've got it here in front of me. My favorite Hasbro figure today is still this Fortnite pumpkin guy.
He is quite cool.
He is awesome, and he was like, I don't see many people with this.
No.
Every time I put this figure online and stuff, everyone always comments and says like, "Where did you get that figure?" and stuff. It's like I don't think it sold very well over it.
The Hasbro Fortnite figures didn't really take off.
It didn't, but this guy is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I must admit, I haven't.
So good.
And I have had a few of the Hasbro Fortnite figures, and they're decent figures, to be fair.
She's my favorite. She's absolutely awesome. The detailing on that with all the tattoos and that.
Yeah,
detailing
that's
on it's
cool.
Awesome.
That is very cool. But yeah, no, like who was it that had it before? Was it Jax?
No, it was Jazzwares.
Jazzwares, that's it. Yeah, they, there were so many.
McFarlane did them as well for a time.
McFarlane as well,
yeah.
yes.
McFarlane did
But
the 7-inch ones.
They were on shelves for so long, and then Hasbro took them over, and they just kind of came and went, which was a shame. Rob said, "Rare that I get Marvel Legends these days, but I've got Ghost Rider incoming tomorrow." Are you talking about the Danny Ketch one? He's there. He is awesome. He is incredible.
The McFarlane ones were cool. 'Cause, I mean, this bunny character, I don't know his name, but this bunny dude's awesome. I love the
Yeah,
Fortnite figs because they're aesthetically look very cool. I don't know the half of the skin names, but they're aesthetically very cool little characters, and you don't
yeah.
like they just look good on the shelf. Like he
I
fits
think
into my display of monsters pretty well.
I think the thing with Fortnite characters though is because there's so many skins,
Mm.
there's very few characters that have kind of become iconic.
Yeah, because there's that many.
You know what I mean? There are a couple of the key ones at the beginning, like what's his name, musicals or whatever his name, the musty cat, Mousicles, yeah. But yeah.
But you will talk about it more tomorrow. But did you see the Fortnite announcements this weekend?
Was this the X-Men one?
Well, Disney had a massive. They've partnered up with Fortnite fully now.
Ooh.
So we're going to get a lot of Marvel characters, which look. The Jubilee with the machine gun looks weird enough as it is.
Yeah.
But I'm worried because this October we're going to get a Disney villains wave and Captain Hook running around with a machine gun or RPG and stuff is just going to look so weird.
Well, see, this is when I used to play it a lot with my son. I used to say I used to only be skins that would use weapons.
Yeah.
Like, I have other skins. Like, I've got like Venom and Wolverine and stuff like that. But like one of my favorites to play was Blade because I was kind of like Blade would have a gun, like he uses weapons and stuff like that. But I found the characters that didn't use weapons very hard to play. Like things like Terminator and Predator and stuff, they were my favorites because they fit in perfectly. But Captain Hook, Ursula squiggling around with a machine gun. I don't know.
Maleficent is going to be one of them. There were so many announced, mate. It's going to look insane. But it weren't just that. They've announced like a full wave of Disney coming, and it's like that's going to look so odd. Like
it's just going to be
Elsa with a submachine gun.
Disney Infinity with weapons, basically, isn't
Basically,
it?
yeah.
I used to love Disney Infinity. That was a brilliant game.
That was a brilliant.
But yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
we are talking Marvel Legends tonight. That's what our kind of main chat is about. So, as I said a minute ago, like Hasbro have been very good to us recently. So they've pumped out a lot of characters that have been asked for years. So just off the top of the bat, Cable, yellow and blue Cable. People have been asking for it for years. We got it this year. The Danny Ketch Ghost Rider again. They've pumped out 5 or 6 Ghost Riders over the years. People were saying we need Robbie Reyes, we need Danny Ketch. They gave us Danny Ketch. Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Iron Fist and Luke Cage again been asking for years. They gave it to us. Like so, we have been quite spoiled. There's been a lot.
That Luke Cage is in my game store now.
Is he?
My game have got that Luke Cage wave, yeah.
What, the 2-pack?
No, there was a single.
Oh no,
is there not a Defenders one?
Yeah, no, that's the 2-pack one. That's the 2-pack one. There we go. Wet Boy 40 Stroke Graham said Doctor Doom will be in Fortnite with Absolute Doom. I've got Doctor Doom.
Is a thing.
I've got Doctor Doom.
I've got a feeling this Absolute Doom thing. I think they're going to do the Robert Downey Jr. thing. I think there's going to be a Robert Downey Jr. head underneath the Doom because they already have the Iron Man skin that's unmasked.
Yeah.
It would be so easy just to put that head under the Doctor Doom mask. I think that's probably what they're going to do because they've already done a Doom previously.
Yeah, I've got
the
Doom.
Back and do something new. I think they'll do something new with him.
Because that was the Marvel storyline, wasn't it? Where you had like and I played that to death. Like me and my son unlocked everything. So I was like, if it's Marvel, because it was the first time they kind of dipped their toe in with Marvel, and I was like, I need to have everything that I can. So I got all the suits. I got the different like rainbow versions and everything. I became an expert on Fortnite for that story. But yeah. But anyway, so Marvel Legends. So what we were thinking this week is that we would talk about a top 10 Marvel Legends list that we would like Hasbro to make. So Marvel Legends that they haven't made or haven't. There isn't sort of any tease or anything like that about these particular figures coming. And what we would like to see and why. Yeah. How did you kind of structure your list,
I
Sorrel?
I've just got 10 names on a list. I've not really put 10 to 1 or anything. I've just made
No.
up 10 figures.
Have you got a number one though? Is there a top one?
No, but I could pick one.
Yeah. So if we save our top one for last, and then the rest we'll just kind of do 10 to 2 in no particular order.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. All right then. Let's kick it off with the number 10 one. Hang on a sec. My camera's messing up. I'm still here, but I think you've lost me. I'm still here. Do your number 10. I'll sort my camera out.
So for me, Manphibian.
Oh,
As a builder figure, he'd look amazing. I can't believe we've not had him yet, to be honest. He's a big character in Marvel. He's been around a long time. He's been a part of the Legion of Monsters, the Howling Commandos.
yeah.
Stake was a thing back in the day as well. He was part of the Midnight Suns for a time. He's a character that's been around. So, I mean, I'm really surprised I've not done him yet.
He is an interesting one, actually. Yeah, he's a very interesting one. I don't know how they would fit him in with, like, whether they could get him. Oh, there we go. Don't know if they could get him in with the MCU, and bring him.
He's
sort of
basically
more
Marvel's
mainstream.
creature from the. It was like a cross between the creature of the Black Lagoon and like Man-Thing, basically.
Yeah, that'd be a good one though. As a so as a builder figure.
Or a deluxe, yeah, because they do deluxe as more now, don't they?
Well, that's the thing as well, is that kind of on that note, they have mentioned that they are going to go down the deluxe and super deluxe route.
Mm-hmm.
That, like Dragon Man, for example, is going to be a super deluxe. So it's not quite your HasLab level, but it's bigger than a deluxe. So you're looking at a much higher price for a bigger figure. So it kind of opens up the doors for anything game, really.
I think they're going to do away with traditional waves, personally, over the next year or so. I think we're going to get rid of the idea of a wave as we know it, and it'll be more like 2-packs, single packs. You know, like the way they've been kind of doing the Spider-Man releases, and I think we'll see more of that going forward.
The thing is that back in the day, and when I say back in the day, let's talk about the kind of the it's not the golden age. I think I don't know where you'd put it, but maybe the silver age of Marvel Legends, where it was all builder figure waves. So you'd have like 2 or 3, maybe 4 waves a year that all had 6 to 7 figures and a builder figure. Mix of MCU and comic books. They were just basically putting out what figures they could put out. And then we said that when they started to slowly stop the builder figures, we were like, maybe they're moving away from that traditional wave. But they have said numerous times that the builder figure and the traditional wave will never end. That's something they will keep. But you know how
they're going more for the big style card back figures nowadays rather than the traditional builder figure waves. They're few and far between now, the back figures.
Yeah. Okay, so on that note, my number 10 in a similar vein would be a super deluxe Fing Fang Foom. So I remember when I spoke to who was it I was talking to? It might have been one of the Marvel Legends team, or was it Ryan from Marvel Podcast?
No, you spoke to Thingy at the convention, didn't you? I forgot his name.
Ryan or
Ryan
Dan?
One
of them. I spoke to Dan one year and Ryan the other year. I can't remember who I spoke to, but I told one of them, I was like, we need Fing Fang Foom as a HasLab. But now that I've seen the super deluxe, I think I'd prefer it as a super deluxe. So it was a bit bigger than the other figures on my shelf, but not so big that it takes up loads of space. But I think we need a Fing Fang Foom. We haven't had one for so long. You can pick up like a knockoff version on things like AliExpress. You can pick up the original version on like eBay and stuff, but he still holds a pretty high price. But yeah, Fing Fang Foom, super deluxe.
Nice. My next one would be Pixie from the X-Men.
Oh, Pixie.
I can't believe they've not made it yet. She's been featured so many times in the comic books over the last 10 years or so, and she's still not got a legend figure, even though they really go to town on the X-Men.
I made a custom of her years ago.
A lot of people have, yeah. She's
years and years ago. Yeah, it was a really easy custom to do because we had heads that worked. You just had to paint the hair pink. We had the wings from various different wasps and beetles and all that kind of stuff. And we had like the X-Men suits. So we had like the Kitty Prydes, for example. There were a few. They were quite easy to pick up when they came out, and it had your black and yellow traditional thing. And I think I used a Kitty Pryde, and I swapped the boots out for like a Domino or something, and it pretty much just worked. Like they have all the pieces to make a Pixie. I'm really shocked that they haven't so far. That's interesting. I'm looking at my list. I'm trying to kind of meet you. All right. So on that note, in regards to X-Men, people are going to hate me for saying it, but it's a Wolverine figure. Wolverine is one of the most produced figures that Marvel Legends do, but they've never given us Feral.
Oh yeah.
So again, it's another one I made a custom of years ago, but Feral had like two distinct looks in the comic books, and it was the kind of jagged bone claws and the ripped costume and the kind of the Wolfman type feet, but he had no nose. But then later he had like a ripped blue bandana instead of a mask. And I just think a Feral figure would really, especially with the articulation that they can do now, they'd be able to make a really cool Feral figure. So yeah, Feral Wolverine.
Nice. MCU time. Werewolf by Night. I still can't believe he's not come out yet.
I knew that was going to go on your list. That's why I didn't put it on mine. Didn't put it on mine.
I want it to be the MCU. As much as I love the comic books, and I already have the old Toy Biz one, which still kind of holds up this day, really. But I mean, it would be cool to get an MCU version.
Yeah. I substituted the Jada Toys Wolfman for my Werewolf by Night. But interestingly, they've just done Man-Thing, haven't they?
Yeah.
From Werewolf by Night, which is now I know that it's a repack, it's a repaint, there's some new parts to it, but essentially they had the mold there for a Man-Thing because it was the builder figure in 2018, 17 as part of the Netflix wave. But it was Dan that I spoke to a couple of years ago at MCM, and it was just after Werewolf by Night had come out. And I did say, can we not get like a Man-Thing Werewolf by Night 2-pack? Like, even if it's a black and white sort of stylized 2-pack. But yeah, he kind of darted around the question. But we got the Man-Thing. So I think Werewolf by Night is going to come at some point, surely.
Yeah.
It seems an easy one.
One thing to remember is, as well, with Man-Thing, he has connections to Jennifer Cale, who's going to be in the Coffin of Chaos.
Yep.
So I wonder if he's going to secretly appear, and that's why we've been giving him early.
Yeah, possibly. That would make sense. All right, sticking with MCU, I'm going to tap into Blade, Wesley Snipes' Blade. I'm very happy with the custom I've got. I've made myself a custom. Very, very happy. We had Blade originally in the Toy Biz days. He came with I think he came with motorbike. But yeah, we had a semi decent figure, or a decent enough figure at the time. It just doesn't really hold up to today's standards. But I think with recent revivals of particular characters and whatnot, I think that a legacy kind of Blade would be really cool. And he had so many distinct looks across the films. It just seems like an easy win. It really does. And I don't even know how it would work with likenesses, because you could do them in the glasses and you might not even need to get the likeness rights or whatever. But yeah, I've got you can see him there. I've got like a 1/6 scale Blade. He's one of my favorite figures. So yeah, MCU Blade, new or old. That's all I'll say about that.
That's got to be coming at it, Wolverine, but that's got to be.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen, surely.
Let me meet you then. If you want to go for a vampire, I'll bring a vampire to the party. As people know, for years I've always been the advocate of bring Dracula back to the Marvel Legends, and we finally got a Dracula announced not long ago as a part of the I forgot what to call it wave, but the Stranger Tales wave. Yeah. So I'm now going to jump on the bandwagon of I want Lilith, the daughter of Dracula from the comics, with the big red cloak, because they did do one of her figures a long time ago, but they called her something else. But it's basically the same character.
Yeah.
Lilith Drake, the daughter of Dracula.
Okay, cool. I actually rewatched Blade Trinity the other day and
Oh, no.
really enjoyed it.
Oh, no.
I really enjoyed it. But Dracula's like the main villain in that, isn't it? And it's just merchandising wise, like I'm so shocked that they didn't pump out figures of everyone in it, because they're figure worthy characters. Like they're not the best versions of characters we've ever seen, but as far as figures go, they're popcorn characters, aren't they? But there we go. All right, so sticking with the kind of dark theme for a little while, Mephisto for me.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be a Mephisto. We haven't had a Mephisto since the Toy Biz days. He's a character that people have been asking for, and he's one of the few characters that I can think of that people are still asking for that we haven't yet got, that kind of falls in line with the things like Dragon Man and all that kind of stuff. We got a tease, we got like a render, didn't we, with the Engine of Vengeance as an unlocked tier, so they can do it. I think they have to. I think with the dark theme of Marvel, it's only going to be a matter of time until Mephisto shows up. So I think we need to have a comic book accurate Mephisto.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen.
Do you know he originally was penned as to feature in Deadpool and Wolverine?
Really? Wow,
Yeah. There was an idea thrown around that Mephisto was going to show up.
We've got Agatha Harkness coming out, and that's all about the Darkhold, the Witcher's Road, and it's stepping on the toes of the old horror Marvel days. I've got the comic books on my shelf. I've got them all, and we are starting to step on the toes of Mephisto now.
Yeah, that's the thing, is we can't go into the dark side of Marvel without having Mephisto.
I've got a feeling they're going to have him mentioned but not featured, because they don't like the fact that he's a demon, devilly thing. But we'll see.
No. Thing is,
basically Marvel's devil, isn't he? Let's be honest.
But when you think of big bads across the kind of Marvel cinematic universe, they're not. It's not that they're running out, but you need to kind of think who's bigger than Thanos. Do you know what I mean? Who can top Thanos? And I think Mephisto would be one that would cause a lot of problems if they brought him in. But for argument's sake, I'd like a comic book Mephisto.
Cool. Okay, we'll stick with the realms of hell, and if you want, with this one, and I will throw Darkchild in the room.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what Darkchild is?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know, but that's Magic's demon form.
Yeah.
Back in the comic books, back in the day, they used to refer to her as the Darkchild when she went into the other realms, and she would have the big devil horns, and she would basically become like a Hellboy almost. And I'd love to see that version of, because we've already had a Magic, and it was pretty definitive, to be fair. That is kind of her look. But a Darkchild would be awesome.
I still have that Magic. I can't let her go. She's too good. But no, Darkchild, she was a bit risque, let's say. Like
She's
the outfit's a little bit
like the old Emma Frost comics.
Yeah, but I think that they could cover her up like what they did with the Goblin Queen.
Yeah,
like
but
they could give.
I was gonna say they have used Darkchild in recent years, and she's not as, they've changed the outfit slightly from what it was.
Yeah, it's not quite as.
It was very.
I used to think of it very much as like a, like the Conan Barbarian type women.
Yeah.
Red Sonja's is that kind of outfit. But I just think that for her, what stands out for me when I think of her is the big kind of twirly horns and the big sword. Like, and if they kind of hit both of those on the head, then we're good.
Yeah, but okay, I mean, if they because I know in the recent comics they depicted her in, like the black and yellow.
Yeah.
And they basically tore it around her around her waist. They tore that off, and like around her legs a bit for the hooves and stuff. So they gave it was like almost like the demon ripped out of the costume kind of thing. Like You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
sort of gave it that look, and I think if they did that as a Marvel Legend, it would work. So like the
Yeah.
magic that we've already had, but just with the ripped look to it, with the big devil horns and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that. I'd quite happily have that. All right, so in the same sort of vein then, I'm gonna say Rachel Summers.
Ooh.
I would like her kind of Phoenix form, which is like the red. It's like the Britney suit. That's what I always called it. You know, like the red leather suit. It's like that Britney Slave for You suit, but it's got all spikes all over it and the short hair and then all the fire and everything. And I just think after seeing the recent Phoenix that they released with like the stand, I think that they could really go to town on the Rachel Summers version.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or failing that, they could just, because in the comics she was depicted with like the phoenix wings, like made out of fire and stuff. So they could just give us that red suit with like the flame wings. Does that make sense?
That would be cool.
If they can't give us the Phoenix version, then I would like I can't remember what comic book run it was in, but it was like the orangey leather one with the tassels and the tail coat kind of thing. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the more modern kind of Rachel Summers looks, but yeah, it was just a very cool outfit, and it was one that I always tried to customize, and I always gave up like kind of halfway through just because, yeah, it's a little bit difficult. Just quickly, Wet Boy 40 said Darkchild appears in the recent trailer for the Marvel Rivals game.
Cool.
Good to know. Good to know. So there we go, Rachel Summers.
For this game that I've not heard of.
Marvel Rivals, yeah, it's a cool game.
So my next one comes with a picture because I don't think many people will. I'm not sure if people are reading the current up-to-date run, but basically in the comics recently it started in Contest of Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Can you put that picture? There we go. In Contest of Chaos, Agatha Harkness was basically made youthful again.
Yeah.
And she's been in a battle with Scarlet Witch. I would love to get this version of Agatha Harkness in the collection.
Yeah, that's a very cool. That's a very cool version.
This is basically how they're depicting her at the moment in the vampire story that's going on right now, the Blood Hunt, and it's how she's been ever since Contest of Chaos. Now she's in the current Midnight Suns run, and no, she's a really cool character. I'm really enjoying reading about her. She's really cool. You can see they've got magic in the background there, and the devil horns as well.
Yeah, Blade, Ghost Rider, Magic, Wolverine.
Yeah, that is
Nico
the modern.
as well.
That is Nico as well. Yeah, that is the modern Midnight Suns run.
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Her version of the character would be awesome. The more youthful, modernized version.
Cool. Okay, I'll stick on this one then. Midnight Suns. But more the game. So we had the Iron Man Midnight Suns figure, really randomly just thrown in a wave. But there are so many cool character designs in that game that it seems like an absolute missed opportunity to not kind of give us those versions of the characters. I know it's probably quite a niche market, so I don't know how well it would do, but yeah, I'm just thinking like Spider-Man, Wolverine, Blade, Doctor Strange, like there was some really cool with the black and gold looking costume. So yeah, hopefully something from Midnight Suns. Hopefully that Iron Man wasn't just a one-off, a one and done. We need something else in the wave. Let's just throw that Iron Man in.
That'd be cool. That would be cool. I do hope they do the rest of the wave. That would be very cool. And a few more figs for that one.
I just think it'd be cool to have some different versions of characters up on the shelf.
Yeah, 100%. Okie dokie. My next one again, I'm going to use a photo for because I'm not sure how many people have read these books. They're quite modern, but I would love them to bring us Zarus. That's how I pronounce it anyway. I'm not sure if it's pronounced that way. Zarus, who is the son of Dracula. And recently in the Avengers run, there was a vampire war. And he became the Shadow Colonel and had boy thing on his shoulder. So like a Spawn of Man thing.
Wow.
Basically sat on his shoulder.
Is this the one that I would never guess in a million years?
Yeah, yeah. It's from a very modernized run of the Avengers, and it was basically a war with Dracula with the Avengers. And Dracula had the Legion of Vampires, which was a good mixture of characters from all over the thing. But Zaris is the son of Dracula. But in this version, he had like his big armored suit on. And Man Thing in the comic books gave us he like made a spawn. It'd be like what Groot does. Like he spawned and made another version of himself, and it was like a baby, so it sat on the shoulder of Zaris and would like help him and stuff. When the vampires were destroyed in this comic, the little boy thing, as they call it, boy thing, attached itself to Blade, and Blade has had boy thing ever since in the comics.
That's mental. He looks like an elephant now.
He does look weird, but it's to help him in the sunlight and stuff. Obviously, he's a vampire. So.
Do you see him unmasked?
Yeah, because it's Zaris. Zaris has been around for a long time. The son of Dracula. He's been in the comic books as long as the daughter of Dracula. He's been along since the 70s. But this is like his more modern depiction.
But in this particular run, do you see him unmasked?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they could do that with an unmasked head, or well, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, going back a little bit, MCU. Iron Man 2, a Whiplash figure.
You've been saying that for a long time, Whiplash.
A long time. I've done a custom, but thing is, I don't think we'll ever get one because of the likeness of Mickey Rourke. Yeah. I'm sure I read somebody that it was somewhere that there was like some kind of dispute or.
Yeah, he's very funny with his likeness because like they've been trying to make you know when he was in The Wrestler.
Yeah.
Companies have been trying to make that action figure for wrestling fans for years because most people would have a wrestler of the Ram for their WWE collection and stuff.
Yeah.
He's never allowed licensing for some reason.
No.
Don't know why. He'd make a fortune.
The reason I really want it is because in the 1/6 scale community, you can get a Whiplash, like an official Iron Man 2 Whiplash figure. So his likeness is out there, and he's kind of given it for Hot Toys. So why would they not do a 6-inch version? Yeah, I just think there's it's when you think of the MCU and you think of certain villains, I just think he has a very iconic look on that racing scene, that racing track scene. Where
I think it might come now. Yeah, I was gonna say I think it might come now because if you remember when that film first came out, it was diabolically hated, wasn't it? It wasn't.
Massively. Movie. Yeah.
But nowadays people do look back at it with a bit of nostalgia, and so I think that'll play into it. Same with the third film and the Mandarin and what they did to him. So I mean, I think people now start to look back on these films with a bit of roast.
But we got a Mandarin figure. That's what annoys me. We got we got an Ironmonger figure from the first film. We got a Mandarin figure from the third film, but we just never got the Whiplash from the second film. And I think that the completionist in me, even though I don't collect Legends like to complete, the completionist in me is still kind of, well, I've never had that second movie villain on my shelf, so I'd like to have it. But they could get around it by giving us his kind of final form and do just the armor. But I don't know how well received that would be, because that would have to be like a deluxe figure, and I'm not sure it would be well enough received for people to kind of pick it up. But yeah, I just think that a Whiplash with like the orange kind of jumpsuit bottoms and all the mechanical stuff and the big whips, I just think it'd be a very cool figure to have. But yeah, that's me, Whiplash.
Cool. The next one, again, this would have to be a super deluxe figure to work. But I think it can be done. I want a Spider Rex.
A Spider Rex. Wow, what is in the big T-Rex?
Yeah, and I think if they're gonna go whole hog, they need to give us Venomsaurus as well.
Yeah,
the Venom one as well. Just that, come on, a great big T-Rex and a Spider-Man suit on your shelf would be amazing.
Well, they done one in the kind of kids line recently, didn't they?
They did one, and all the Legends fans bought it because you know you're never gonna see that in Legends form. So everyone bought one. It was hard to get hold of, but people have got it.
Exactly. Hugo just said in the chat, if Whiplash happens, he got to come with his bird. yeah, you'd have to have his bird, and not any old bird. It would have to be his bird. Yeah, no, I okay, I could get behind that. I could get behind that. So I've just realised, looking at my list, I've done one too many.
Okay.
So I think I'm
It's
gonna.
all right. We've got plenty of time to chat, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Hope Summers.
Ooh,
Hope
yeah.
Summers in her yellow and green outfit. Cable's daughter. We got one back in the Toy Biz days.
Yeah, it's still a good figure. That I love.
It holds up. It does hold up. When I had my complete X-Men collection, I had that figure on the shelf. The legs are a bit janky, and they kind of, she does the splits and she falls forwards and falls backwards. But I just think that with the tooling that Marvel Legends has nowadays, they could give us a really good Hope Summers figure. And there's something very cool about that costume and kind of having her side by side with Cable and all the rest of it. But yeah, I just think she's a really missed opportunity, and I don't understand why we haven't had her yet.
She's the Messiah complex character and everything like that. She's a big part of X-Men history. And I remember, like, when I got rid of all my Legends, like when I really went to town and butchered out what I didn't need to keep, I actually kept her and Cable. Her and Cable were ones that I held on to.
Really?
I really like that Hope Summers figure. I think she still looks good to this day.
I held on to her for a long time, and yeah, and then I was like, nope. If I let Hope go, I'm committed. I'm committed here to the clan. But yeah, a new modern Hope Summers figure, and I think if they did her, anyone with a Cable figure would be able to kind of put her on the shelf and have them side by side. So yeah, Hope Summers.
Okay. Okay, then comic book now, because
yeah,
it'd be cool to have the MCU versions, but I think I would rather have comic book, and it's going to be a 2-pack. I want Speed and Wiccan. I can't believe they've never been made.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that.
I just can't believe they've never been created. Obviously, they fall into Avengers territory. They fall into X-Men territory. They're kind of like a good all-rounder, really, to go in a collection. So I'm really surprised. Obviously, the Young Avengers as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and they've
really
done. Yeah. I'm trying to think who else who they team with. The Young Avengers would actually be a good shout. Like they haven't.
They gave us the comic book Kate Bishop. They gave us comic book versions of back in the Toy. Is it Toy Biz? They gave us the. Is it called? What's he called? It's not Iron Patriot. Patriot.
No, Iron Lad.
No, the Patriot one. The Captain America lad. They gave us him as well, didn't they?
Oh, he was just the Patriot, wasn't he?
He was called the Patriot.
The Patriot,
well,
Iron Lad, Hulkling, Speed and Wiccan.
We've got a Hulkling. We've had a Hulkling recently.
Have we?
Did they not give us? Oh, no, Scar, wasn't it?
Scar. No, it's Scar. Yeah. Yeah. A Young Avengers. I'll tell you what. A Young Avengers 5-pack, similar to how they did the like Alpha Flight or something like that.
That'd be cool.
And we do. Yeah, we get the Patriot. We get Iron Lad or whatever his name was. I wasn't big on the Young Avengers, but it'd be a good box set. I think for me, Young Avengers was just kind of looking at it. I was old enough to kind of go, oh, don't just make all my favorite heroes young and like regurgitate them in comic book form. So I never really got behind it. But I think as a box set, yeah, it would be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool. Cool. Just quickly, Alex Ryan in the chat has said something, and it kind of tips into something that nearly made my list, but didn't. My top 2 MCU are Reed Richards from Doctor Strange and a jumpsuit Hulk from Endgame. Both of these were actually on my list, and I took them off. The jumpsuit Hulk from Endgame, I'm really shocked that we haven't had. We had third-party figures doing them. Diamond Select gave us a jumpsuit Hulk. But Legends never gave it to us, and I just thought it was a really unique version of Hulk that they had the sculpt for, they had the molds for. They just need to put the clothing on him. Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't add that one. Reed Richards from Multiverse of Madness, I'm 100% behind that. I don't think it's ever going to happen now that we've got a Fantastic Four.
But I tell you what, if they gave us a box set with all of the, with the Charles Xavier and
Peggy
the
Carter,
Peggy
yeah,
Carter, and how cool would that be as a box set?
yeah, that would be
Give us
very, very cool.
they call them the council or something. They have like a fancy name, don't they?
The Illuminati.
The Illuminati, that was it. So
The
yeah, they get
Illuminati.
imagine a box set of the MCU Illuminati would be awesome.
Or even just a box set of the comic book
Mm-hmm.
Illuminati, because
Yeah.
obviously in the comic book it had Black Panther, it had Namor, it had like there was loads of other characters in it that didn't feature in Multiverse of Madness. But I think the only way that we would get an MCU Reed Richards from Doctor Strange is if they did it as a box set.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd ever get him as a single figure now.
No.
Which is one of the reasons why certain characters in the new Deadpool and Wolverine film, we have to get them in a Deadpool Wolverine wave, spin-off wave, something like that, because if we don't, we're not going to get them. But I'm hopeful that we are going to get them because we only had 3 figures officially announced for that film, which just seems mad, really.
They did say the figures would come a long time after, didn't they? They said that at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think we were lucky that we got the Deadpool and Wolverine because obviously they were shown off early and we already saw the costumes, so we kind of got them figures early. But I think there'll be there's got to be a full wave of stuff because it is the most popular Marvel movie probably ever made now.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's by far is smashing all records as every day goes past. My only issue with it is that if you look back to the Eternals, we got a full wave for the Eternals, like a dedicated wave for the Eternals. We got a deluxe figure, we got 2 store exclusives, and we got a builder figure. And okay, no one could have predicted that the film was going to massively flop and everyone hate it, but we still got a dedicated wave and all of those extra figures. And then you take something like Deadpool and Wolverine, which are 2 massive fan favorites, and you look at the cameos and the extended characters that are in it, surely it would be a very favorable gamble to kind of go, you know what, we're going to go all in on this and do as many as we can as quickly as we can.
I think the Eternals was the reason why we don't get that now.
But it's not even the
they
same.
went all in on the Eternals and nobody wanted them.
but doing the Eternals wave is like betting on a horse that you've never seen race.
Mm-hmm.
Going all in on a Deadpool and Wolverine wave
100%.
would be kind of like, well, we know this horse wins all the time. Like, let's put a load of money on it. Yeah. Alex said Deadpool passed the 1 billion today. So I'll react my sock if we don't get a second wave in 6 months. I'll react my sock. I'll react my socked. I'm not quite sure what that means. But I kind of, I'm with you that we should get
I think you meant to write that he'll be in shock if we don't get
Yeah, I was like, what's reacting my sock? Is that something dodgy? Like, are we going to get cancelled for reading it out loud? No, I agree though. But yes, it did. It passed the 1 billion mark, which is phenomenal. But the merchandise should be coming. There are so many.
There's no way we're not going to. I think we'll get a heroes wave and a villains wave. I think that's how they'll do it. They'll team them up. So we'll get like the scene with all the cameos. Am I all right to say it at this point, do you think?
Come on.
I think we'll get the Gambit, the Blade, the the Human Torch.
Yeah.
We'll get
X-23.
X-23. I think we'll get all them together as a wave.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we'll get the villains wave, which would include, I forgot her name, but the main villain lady with Human Torch.
Yeah. Cassandra Nova.
Cassandra Nova. And then I think we'll get a smattering of other, Sabretooth maybe, because he was quite popular. You know what I mean? Like, I think we'll get a smattering of other characters in there.
Like you could pump out 2 solid waves from that movie.
Oh, easy.
Without
and a Deadpool variant wave. I think people would buy it. If they released a wave that included some form of Lady Deadpool, Kid Pool, because you could put Kid Pool and Baby Pool in the same pack, you know what I mean? To bash it out a bit. I think you'll easily get
Yeah.
a wave of just it's got that cowboy Deadpool, the Ryan Reynolds ridiculous long-haired Deadpool. I'd buy that.
Nice
That's
pool.
nice pool.
I'm
Dog
doing a
pool.
custom. I'm literally making a custom of him now because I'm like, I want it on my shelf. But yeah, VHS 201 has said, I didn't realize that the Russian from The Punisher was in the movie. There's so many people in that. The Russian from The Punisher is in that movie. Bullseye from Daredevil's in
Really?
Yeah,
I
Bullseye's
did
in
not
there.
reckon. I did not see Bullseye.
No, he's different, but
Oh, well, yeah.
they've changed his ethnicity, but it's still him. He's still got the Deadpool logo. He's still got the same costume. There's obviously characters like Toad, and there's like various different X-Men, Psylocke, like loads of them. But they could pump out 2 solid waves. Like you could do a villains wave and a heroes wave, and people would buy it. Like hands down, people would buy it. You could make the Builder figure Baby Paul, and people would still buy it.
Do you know what I think? Even if they did a variant Wolverine, like line of action figures with tiny Wolverine and crap like that, people would buy it because of how popular that film is.
Yeah, the sheer fact that it's past 1 billion within the first 2 weeks, 2 days, shows how popular this movie is. And being a Hot Toys collector, they did the Hot Toys figures, the Wolverine and the Deadpool. Deadpool came with Baby Paul, Dog Paul, Head Paul, I think. They've then announced a Lady Paul, Lady Deadpool. And those figures are buzzing. Like the people that have paid the extra to get the first batch of Deadpool figures, they're everywhere. They're showing them off. They're saying how brilliant they are. You do that in 6-inch version for the kind of 6-inch collectors, and you give us as many of the characters as possible. They would sell. They would sell. You could put them on the shelves of brick and mortar stores, and they would sell out. It almost seems like a no-brainer.
But even if we don't get all these that we're talking about, I think we will definitely see a Gambit, a Blade, a Elektra, and X-23. I think we'll get them as a set.
Johnny Storm as well.
Yeah, probably because they've already got the Chris Evans head sculpt, haven't they?
Yeah.
And then I think it would be a no-brainer that Cassandra Nova's going to get a figure just because she was a decent character in the movie. She played a good role.
Yeah, she was really good.
So I mean, I'd like to see her as an action figure as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people are already customizing them because there is Hasbro parts out there to make her.
Yeah. Oh, there are. So yeah, I think 2 solid waves, 3 solid waves. Like they need to just push it out. They need to push it out now. They need to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so I'm into my last one, which is a 2-pack. How many more you got? And then I've got my top one.
Okay, so yeah, do you want to go your next one, and then we'll do his top one.
Okay, so my next one you could do it as a 2-pack, which I think they're going to do it as a 2-pack, hence why we're waiting. Or you could do it as individual figures, but it's Lizard and Electro from Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
That they have to be done. Like you've given us all of the characters from that film. You've given us the 3 Spider-Men, you've given us Doc Ock, you've given us Goblin, you've given us Sandman. We even got MJ and Matt Murdock, for goodness sake. Do you know what I mean? So we need to have the rest of the fake Sinister Six, you know. Lizard, I think, would be a deluxe. It would have to be. Yeah. And I think because of that, to pack him up with Electro and give us a 2-pack would make the most sense. And then they've kind of hit all the nails. They've done a wave of figures. They've done a special Pulse exclusive box set. They've done store exclusive deluxe figures. The only thing we're kind of missing is a 2-pack. So, yeah, Electro and Lizard 2-pack. And with Electro, I would like him to have an alternate blue head as well. I know the costume's different, but I'd like him to just kind of to give us that kind of nod to the past and give us a Jamie Foxx blue Electro head, because the one that we got in Legends form was diabolical. It's awful. Did not age well at all.
Okay, my number one, my top pick I still can't believe we never had this figure, to be honest. A Franken Castle.
Oh,
So
that's
the
a
Punisher
good
Frankenstein.
shout. Yes.
I
Frankencastle is good. If you've got a
I
picture of
customized
him,
one
throw him
years
up.
ago. I customized one years ago. But yeah, I'm really surprised he never, because they love pumping out Punishers just as much as they love pumping out Wolverines. So I'm really surprised they've never given us him, to be honest.
There was talk that he was going to be the builder figure in one of the waves.
Mm.
There was like where they announce a new wave coming out. People kind of guess, what's going to be the builder figure and all that kind of stuff. And he was one of the top picks for quite some time. He would lend himself to a builder figure or a deluxe because he's obviously big, but his costume is just very cool. Like it's there's something very cool about what's his name? Frank what's he called?
Franken Castle?
Frankencastle. I'm like, what? I went completely blank there. I was like, Castlestein, blank. Frankencastle. Yeah, it's just the costume is very cool. The look of the character is very cool, and it is actually Frankenstein as the Punisher, isn't it?
It is literally, yeah.
Yeah. But with that said, I think that they are missing a trick with Punisher waves.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've only had few actual kind of Punisher figures, really. We had the Riders figure, which was very cool. We've had that recent 2-pack announced. We've had a few others dotted around. But there's lots of versions of the Punisher that we could get. Like I always think of the what if the Spider-Man was the Punisher. You remember that Spider-Man suit where he's got the guns as the web. Like there's some cool Punisher-esque figures out there.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised we've not had Punisher from the Spider animated line yet.
The 97 Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they did those VHS boxes, and they were kind of a nod to that animated Spider-Man, weren't they? So we had like the animated Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Mary Jane, and Aunt May. But we need more. We need more of them.
Well, they've only just given us recently the Morbius and Doctor Strange randomly paired together. I mean, it would be great if they put Punisher and maybe Blade in a box set together.
That'd be a cool one.
Because obviously the blue suit would Punisher with the big grey cloak, and then you could put, cool. And have the Blade with the spikes on his shoulder and stuff. That'd be badass.
That would be cool. I actually only think I've got a couple of those figures. I've got the Lizard, I've got Smythe, Peter Parker, Mary Jane. Like I didn't go as hard for those as I thought I would. Alex Ryan in the chat has also said needs some season 2 Loki figures, but it probably won't be until we get more shows, so they have enough to pump out a wave with a builder figure. I agree. I completely agree. But I think Loki is a prime example of why Hasbro need to strike while the iron's hot, because Loki season 2, if they'd given us figures when that was out, people would have bought them all up. Whether they kept them or not, I don't know, but they would have bought them up because it was a hot topic. Whereas I think if they did a wave of Loki 2 now, there are some people that would have bought them that won't buy them now.
I still think they've missed the trick by not giving us the Loki who remains, at the very end, the Loki with the...
Like the God Loki.
The God Loki, that's the one we need.
Yeah. Hot Toys has done a very good one with the whole throne thing and everything. It's very cool. Very, very cool. Alex as well, he's apologising for spamming, but don't worry, mate. It's all fine. Spider Hulk. Yes.
Spider Hulk would be awesome.
Spider Hulk is one that's on my list to be made. It's not actually on this list. That's my custom one I did years ago. I made a custom one years ago because I was like, I'm sick and tired of waiting for this to be remade. So
isn't there an official Toy Biz one?
There is. There's a Toy Biz one. Yeah, I wanted one on my shelf, and I was kind of like, you know what, I can paint a Spider-Man suit onto a Hulk. That's fine. That's no problem.
Oh, yeah, of course they made it. Yeah, it was a Toy Biz one because the Shartimus Prime used it in one of his Legends Collectors spoof videos, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
He used it was one of the figures that he used to wipe his ass with.
Oh, really?
There was like a joke in it where his wife kept asking him to get toilet paper from the store, and he would always choose figures over buying toilet paper. And so he would use action figures to wipe his ass, basically. And it'd be like the Thing from the movie and things like that. It'd be like the crap figures that they've made.
That was
And
an awful figure.
Spider Hulk was one of them that he used in it, and then he sells it to that friend of his that he teams up with a lot.
Oh, right, yeah.
I forgot his name now, but yeah, he was like there was like an episode with him, and he's trading it to him, and he sniffs it and goes, "Why does it smell like shit?"
The funny thing is that the Toy Biz one is quite janky looking now. I'm not a fan of it, but it still holds like a decent price.
Oh yeah, some of the old Toy Biz ones are janky as hell, but you know what? I've still got melty face Morbius to this day. I love that stupid figure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mine's all right because I've never put him in the sun. He's always been in a box, so mine's all right.
It was like Hasbro. It was like Toy Biz had done like a with authentic face melting feature if you put him in the sun. If I was their marketing team, I would have definitely kind of made that a thing. But no, I made it on a Hulk body because we were getting so many Hulk figures at one point that you could pick up a Hulk figure for near to nothing. And I just thought the proportions on that were much better. So yeah, a bit of sanding, bit of green stuff, and made a Spider Hulk. But yeah, that's pretty cool. But he wasn't my number one.
Mm-hmm.
My number one is Robbie Reyes. It's not exciting. It's not like, but it's one of the only Ghost Rider figures that we've not had an official Marvel Legends figure of now. And you think so? I just think that I hope that the failing of the Engine of Vengeance doesn't put him on the back shelf. If that makes sense. Because they really tried to sell that HasLab with Robbie Reyes, and
I think he's going to be.
Really
I think he's going to be an MCU character very soon. Personally.
An MCU character.
I don't think if we're going to get Ghost Rider, I do not think we will get the classic. I don't think we'll get Johnny. I don't think we'll get Danny Cash.
You think we're going to get Robbie Reyes?
I think we'll get the modern Robbie Reyes, just because modern. Come on, he's going to be younger. He's going to be more relatable. He'll be able to play.
I do get that. I just.
And do you know what? I reckon. Do you know what? To even throw a bit of fan casting out there, I reckon it'll be the kid from Cobra Kai that plays. What's he called? That
would be good.
Blue Beetle.
He's Blue Beetle though.
Blue Beetle died of death in DC.
No, it's one of the only DC films that stayed canon after.
You're telling me if Marvel came knocking and said you want to play Ghost Rider, that kid's going to turn it down?
I don't know, mate. He's playing the modern Guyver that is Blue Beetle. But no, when James Gunn took over, he's one of the only characters that stayed canon. The thing is we got Robbie Reyes in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There was a whole series based around Ghost Rider. It was literally Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider. I'm a massive Ghost Rider fan, and it goes back to the days when I was a kid reading the comics, and there was just something very cool about a flaming skull in a leather jacket on a motorcycle. It was kind of like, this is the epitome of cool. And I think if they kind of skip over that again, like if they kind of skip it, I don't know. Like I didn't hate the Nick Cage versions. They were not great movies, but of the time, they were okay.
No, it's coming up in the 2000s. I mean, those films were all right. They were at the time, that was the representation we had on the screen. It wasn't a case of back then you couldn't sort of say, "Oh, this was rubbish," because it was the only version we had on the screen.
That's all you got.
That's all we got.
The thing is, as well, is rewatching them recently, the actual CGI in them isn't that bad. Like looking at Ghost Rider, it is Ghost Rider. But I just think we've now got in Legends form, we've got Johnny, we've got Danny, we just need a Robbie. And with a certain company called Ramen Racer, Ramen Toy, the Ramen Racers are being shipped, they're being put out. So to have a Robbie, like an official Robbie Reyes figure to go with that would be really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be a good way of Hasbro cashing in on the success of these other companies
Yeah.
kind of rising from their failure, because obviously they pumped out these vehicles. There's going to be a lot of people with these vehicles in their collection in need of a figure, in need of a character to join it. So yeah, Robbie Reyes for me would be a big one. But to be fair, I'm very happy with the custom I've got. I've got an awesome custom head sculpt made by RDJ. I've got a pretty decent custom body, so I'm okay at the moment. But I would very much like an official one.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other sort of honorable mention for me would be I've been saying it for years, but I would love them to give us Blade in his original green attire from his first appearance in Tomb of Dracula.
Yeah.
So a lot of people obviously know Blade as the Wesley Snipes looking Blade, and to be fair, he didn't actually look like that in the comic books until the movie.
Not originally, no.
No, it was very much a 70s short, small afro, bright green clothing, big
British
yellow
accent.
jam jar glasses.
British accent.
And then it was when the Wesley Snipes thing came out, then he kind of exploded, and then they kind of redesigned him, but they still didn't use the Snipes look for a long time. They gave us the animated look that they used in the animated series. They gave us that version of Blade for a long time.
Yeah. No,
There's a really interesting book, if anyone's interested. You can get it. It's a Marvel comic. You can get it. It's called Marvel's History of Horror. And it's a big, thick hardback. And it goes through right from 1950s right through to modern. And it gives you like every horror character and book they've ever done. And it gives you excerpts and snippets of different characters. Like, it shows you where Groot came from. Like, Groot originally was in a Tales of Terror and things like that. Kind of all like Tales of the Strange and all these weird old comic books they used to put out long before they had their own comic books, basically.
Yeah.
It's very cool to go back and look at them all.
Groot looked very different in his original form. Very, very different. Yeah. No, I'd be down for an original Blade figure. I think, you know, if we're going for the kind of the more obscure kind of honorable mentions as well, I would like some of the legacy figures. Like, I think my collection wavers more towards the movies now than it does the comic books. I've got my comic book collection, I've got my key characters, but where I used to collect everything, I mean, okay, fair enough. These are all Spider-Man figures, all comic book Spider-Man figures. There's excuse my language, there's hundreds of them. But like my X-Men next to them, I've got one character, like I've got one version of Wolverine, one version of Cyclops. Like, I'm happy with that. So I don't need to collect loads of comic book figures because I've kind of completed the roster. But when it comes to the movie stuff, there's new movies coming out all the time. Like we've talked about Deadpool and Wolverine. They could give us that Johnny Storm figure. They could give us that Gambit figure. They could give us that Elektra. But I would really like them to go down like a legacy line and kind of honor those previous films, because I think Deadpool and Wolverine have shown that there's a lot of love for the legacy that 20th Century Fox, New Line, all that kind of stuff laid out. And I think if they gave us the Fantastic Four, if they gave us Daredevil and Elektra, if they gave us Ghost Rider and Blade and all these kind of figures of characters from films before, I think people would buy them. I really do. I think people would buy them to flesh their shelves out.
Oh, 100%. I would, if they started doing like the old movie figures, I mean, like the old X-Men, if they started giving us like Halle Berry and, you know, all the old X-Men characters, and like even Anna Paquin, and you know what I mean, that would be awesome to get them again.
You know what, as well, this is just sort of come to my head, is that the whole point of toys as a child toy is the thing of imagination, isn't it? It's of being able to get a Care Bear and a Ninja Turtle and make them go on a mission together to save He-Man. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what it is when it comes to imaginative play. And that's what, for a lot of adult collectors, their love for figures and their love for action figures and toys and stuff like that comes from that childhood element of play and imagination and all this kind of stuff. And I think that as an adult, the reason why I would want to have those legacy characters is because I'm never going to see X2's Rogue on screen with Blade and Chris Evans Captain America. You know what I mean? Like that's never going to happen. But you can put them on your shelf and you can kind of have those characters next to each other because they're the things that you like, you know, and that's the kind of adult collections version of that imaginative play. And I think that's what worked so well in Deadpool and Wolverine is it gave us all those characters from yesteryear and kind of going, oh man, look, they're side by side with this brand new character that I'm just seeing today for the first time. Here's a character from 20 years ago. And I think for an action figure company, like if they gave us a legacy wave or a couple of legacy waves that gave us the Ghost Riders, gave us the Blades, the X-Men, the Daredevils, like the Punisher. I'd even take a what's his name? Who played Punisher?
Yeah, I know you mean. I got his name, but yeah.
Oh, just thinking Frank Castle. It wasn't Frank Castle. Thomas Jane. Thomas Jane? Yeah. But even his Punisher, do you know what I mean? Like all of these kind of characters from yesteryear, give them to us as action figures because people will buy them. I'm telling you that now.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and it must be difficult for a company that produces so much. They're not going to hit the bullseye every time. There are going to be figures that come out that people think are a waste of a figure or a waste of a slot. But yeah, I'd love to know the process of how they pick what figures they're going to do.
I wonder whether it's Marvel that dictates more than Hasbro. I think Marvel have a lot more say than we actually imagine.
I've always asked the question whenever I've interviewed the guys and never got an answer, definitive answer of how they kind of select what it is they're going to do.
I've got a feeling they will say, well, we think we want to make these characters, and Marvel will kind of approve or deny.
Yeah.
And then they might put their own suggestions from it. Or they might say we want a Deadpool wave and we need to have this character in it. And then it's up to Hasbro who else they put in it. But there'll definitely be like an approvals process, and there'll be a lot of that behind the scenes stuff that we just don't see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, completely.
But just to touch on Deadpool and Wolverine again, one thing that we haven't talked about yet, or that I want to talk about after we kind of did our spoiler episode and chatted a lot about it. Do you not think Secret Wars could be timeline versus timeline? MCU 616 versus Earth 1000.
Oh.
So like we'll get those characters reunited again. So Wolverine, Wolverine, and I reckon they'll probably bring Cable back for that movie, and like have all the X-Force characters basically without X-23 there, Gambit and stuff, and then they could bring in Blade and things and Jennifer Garner and that. Bring those back, and have those versus a select bunch of characters like from the MCU.
Possible. It is possible.
I just wondered how it's like. Secret Wars was about two teams fighting off, wasn't it? They would fought each other from different, and it was all about different worlds colliding. They can't give us the story like they never like to give us the story from the books. They like to change it up. So I'm just the fact that they've made this whole the timeline up now, the fact that they've given it a name and they're taking time to tell us about it.
The thing with the Secret Wars comic book as well is that it just involved everyone. Like it was.
Would you not find it hard though? Because then who would you root for? That would be the awesome thing between fans. It would be a case of crap. I don't, as like Deadpool's going to go up against like Captain America or whatever. Like, who do you root for? Like that would be awesome to see.
I think that's the only way that they're gonna top something like Infinity War and an Endgame is if they basically divide the fandom in that respect.
Yep.
I agree. But then also it's who do they make win? Like what?
Even in Secret Wars they never won really.
No.
They ended up coming together to fight the big villain. There'll just be a bunch of really cool fight scenes where they kind of face off. They kind of did it when they did the Apocalypse X-Men movie, where they had like Archangel and Psylocke and that versus the X-Men. That was awesome to see on the big screen. That battle was awesome. Like Storm up in the air, like almost like a god character destroying the X-Men, was amazing to see. Seeing them go off like that was cool. Again, it was like, who do you root for? Because I love all these characters. Normally they're on the same side, now they're fighting each other. So it'd be cool to do that again, but just with these two timelines.
Well, interestingly, Fantastic Four, they've already said, is not set in the same timeline, is it?
Nope.
So that's already setting up another timeline, possible timeline different to what we've seen. It might be a completely new timeline. It might be something that we have seen before. There was a couple of people that commented on, because I said about Gambit showing up in Secret Wars. There was a couple of people that were like, no, because he's not an Avenger, he's an X-Man. And I was like, yeah, but if you've read the Secret Wars comics, like they're all in it, like X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Avengers, like basically anyone Marvel could draw was in that comic. Like I'd struggle to who was not included. I'd find it harder trying to think of who was not in that comic book run than who was. If that makes sense. And I think because of that vast roster, anything's possible.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a good theory, though. I do like it.
I was thinking, how else would they be able to do Secret Wars without making it another Civil War movie?
I think the danger they have is that the modern Marvel kind of lineup is not your Captain America, your Thor, your Black Widow. Like, it's not your original Avengers lineup. And I don't think the new Avengers have got enough fan kind of backing to have people root for it. If you had them going up against people like Deadpool, basically whoever's going up against Deadpool right now is losing, because it's the 1 billion club, isn't it? Like it's like he's the fan favorite.
That's the thing. I would look, because like, how cool would it be if that scene that we saw in Deadpool with Chris Hemsworth basically crying over him was from Secret Wars, and it's because Thor beat the crap out of Deadpool.
Yeah,
and he's genuinely upset about it or something. That would be awesome to see. But I mean,
well, everyone's saying that's from Secret Wars. That's a little hint at Secret Wars.
Because they said it was from his future, not his past as well.
Yeah.
So one thing I was going to say was, Hulk is a shoo-in because he's CGI. He would definitely be. Then you've got Thor. So you've got two big players there, Hulk and Thor. I think would definitely be on the Avengers side for 616.
Yep.
Spider-Man would definitely be there. Maguire, what do you call him? Biggest Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man. He would be there. So that's three major players that are still around that could be in.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange would definitely be a part of it.
Yeah. Okay. No, fair enough. I retract my statement.
I mean, yes, we wouldn't. We might not get Iron Man, Cap, but we've still got Thor, Hulk, Spider-Man. We've still got three big players there to go up against Wolverine, Deadpool.
Yeah.
Because it would be cool to see Deadpool versus Spider-Man, Hulk versus Wolverine properly fight. I think that's one of the reasons we didn't get it in the movie, was because I think they're saving that for Secret War. Yeah. And then, you know what I mean? They could play around with that quite easily. And there's some fights there to do that could be quite good.
Yeah. Vibranium versus Adamantium.
Yeah.
On that note as well, before we do finish, have you seen that in Captain America Brave New World, they are going to go back to the Celestial that's in the water, doing that, and they are getting adamantium from that. That's where the adamantium is coming from in the universe. So they are pulling adamantium and out of that Celestial, which kind of applies that adamantium is then going to be in the 616 universe. Whereas obviously we've already seen Wolverine in the other universe with adamantium. So yeah, so adamantium's on the way. Make what you want of that. Cool. No, that was cool.
One thing before we finish up tonight, I've just got to say, I went to the cinema the other night and they showed the new trailer for The Crow.
Oh, okay.
They showed a new trailer for it. And you know what? I'm actually excited for this movie now. The first trailer did not do it justice at all. Do you know what? Admittedly, I will admit they have not followed the comic book at all. They've not followed the original movie at all. They've done their own thing, but they have given them all the names of, Tin Boy, T-Bird.
Yeah.
They've used all the names, Tintin and stuff, and they've obviously called him Eric Draven, which, do you know what? I still think they should have just kept this as its own Crow movie, because when I was watching the trailer, it's nothing like the original movie. It's its own thing. They're just calling them the same characters' names, but it looks good. We even get a scene. It looks like from when he's died, and he's in the land of the dead, and the guy basically explains to him the power of the crow, and then you see that scene where we saw in the last trailer where he seems to push him into the water, and he goes down under the water and drowns basically, and then comes back to Earth like from the water.
Okay.
That's the scene I think they're going for. It looks very cool how they've done it.
I'm a big fan of the Crow, and I just think if we're gonna get a modern Crow, as long as the story's told well, I'll hold all judgment on the rest of it, because it's a cool story. It is a cool story, star-crossed lovers, all that kind of stuff. Like, it is a very cool story of vengeance and anti-heroism and all this kind of stuff. It's just, I just remember it really hitting a nerve for me when I was younger and I watched it, the Brandon Lee version. And I was too young to kind of go, oh, this is Brandon Lee, or this is really good. It was just, this is a cool story and it's presented well. So I will reserve judgment on everything else until I've seen it. I'm just pleased that we're kind of getting another thing for the new generation.
Do you know what though? The guy that's playing the villain is him from American Horror Story that played the Sax Man.
Ooh.
He's the main sort of like big bad mafia boss, and there's a bit in the trailer where he's got a baseball bat over his shoulder and he's going, "Here, birdie, 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 birdie," and it's so friggin' sinister. It's so good.
Awesome.
You can imagine his voice from American Horror Story. He's got that really deep sort of New Orleans accent. And he's like, "Here, birdie, birdie, birdie."
Amazing. Amazing.
Good. Looks good.
Cool. I can't wait. But no, that was good. It was good. It's fun to talk Legends again. Tell you what, if over the next 6 months any of those come to fruition, we'll do a call back to this show. I don't know. I'm not sure if we'll see any of those, but
I'm hoping so.
I just want some legacy figures. Let me have some legacy figures. Cool. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. We tried to get to comments as we went. I did see a couple. We missed a couple as we went. Alex Ryan said that he was trying to say "eat my sock," but it all corrected. Just to clear that one up. Shelley is there. Hugo. Wet Boy Graham, everyone that I tried to get to as many comments as possible. Well, thank you very much for commenting along and joining in the chat. If you are watching this on catch up, then of course do put in the chat what, Mr. Sorrell?
Hashtag catch up crew.
Catch up crew. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate you tuning in. We do appreciate you commenting. Make sure you keep your eyes on our channels, because we will 99.9% be doing a Geek Week Plus show tomorrow night for D23, and we'll just dissect everything that's happened over this weekend in regards to Disney and upcoming announcements, from Toy Story 5 to Descendants and zombie crossovers. It's going to be a great, as well as of course Marvel, Star Wars, and all the rest of the cool kid stuff. Anyway,
Including
that's
Hocus
it.
Pocus TV series and a third movie apparently,
and an Inside Out TV series set between the first and second film. It's all good. And a Snow White trailer for the first time.
Enough about that.
Yeah.
Enough about that one.
Yeah. There we go. Until next time, of course, we do appreciate you. Thank you for joining. Check out a link in the description. Give us a follow on other social medias, all that kind of stuff. Until next time, keep it geek.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and of course subscribe. Tune in next week for another live show. www.geekweekinreview.co.uk.